So I want to share one of my favorite life drawing exercises, and that is the scribbled figure. And I really like this exercise because anyone can do it, no matter how experienced you are in life drawing. And it's really fun. It encourages you to scribble, which maybe you've been taught not to do in art classes, or told not to scribble as a kid. And it also doesn't require a lot of energy and thinking. You can kind of, if you're really tired, you're going to life drawing, you can kind of just do it automatically. And often we go to life drawing for an evening session. It's been a long day. We really want to draw, but we don't have a lot of energy. This is great for that. And it really stretches key drawing skills related to how we see, how we move our hands, our understanding of contour and gesture and construction, all kinds of stuff. But it's fun, and we don't have to really think about it. So I'm going to demonstrate it here, and I'll talk about a little bit about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, or I'll try to multitask. But then I'll come back and make a few kind of pointers and adjustments at the end. So this is the scribbled figure exercise. And this works well with poses of any length, really. Usually I do it with kind of shorter poses just because I'm doing it as a warm-up. But you could do this for as long as you like, really, even up to like really long poses if you wanted to. And it works well with a linear medium. I'm just using a ballpoint pen, just a simple pen. It works well like with a mechanical pencil or a pen like this, something that can't make wide marks. Usually I'm using charcoal that allows me to have a variation of thin and thick lines. But for this exercise, I just want thin lines. You can use charcoal as well, or other mediums. That could be fun to experiment with, but I like to use just a pen. So the first step is to, very similar to blind contour drawing, just focus your attention on the model. I have this kind of fun photo reference of a character here, but focus your attention mostly on the model and only look at your page briefly every once in a while. You don't really need to be looking at your page for this exercise the whole time. That's one of the skills that this stretches, is to focus our attention more on what we observe than on what we're drawing. And then with a loose pencil hold or a pen hold, I'm just going to skim my pen across the page, allowing my eye and my hand to kind of move together to describe what I'm seeing in a very loose and light scribble. And I'm just going to do one pass. And so let's start with that. And I haven't warmed up today, so this is going to be my warm up. So I'm scribbling very lightly, and I'm keeping a pretty kind of steady pace. And that's it. Okay, so you probably can't see it super well in the video, but it's very light, it's very loose. And this, I don't know how long that was, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, like for a very short pose, this is a great technique. But as I was scanning, I was noticing all kinds of things. I was noticing shadows, I was noticing contours, and I was noticing some gesture. Maybe you don't have a definition for those things yourself, but I was noticing all kinds of things in the figure. And my lines just kind of described what I was seeing as I was noticing things. And so now I'm going to do another pass, but I'm going to look back and forth between my sketch and the figure, and I'm going to just make small adjustments. I'm not going to try to get too detailed, just small refinements, and I'm not going to kind of try to get anything exactly right. So let's try that. Here's a second pass. And you can see I'm sometimes going over an area a few times. And sometimes I'm kind of pretty rapidly like stretching out into a new area. But I'm not really jumping around too much. Okay, let's pause there. Yeah, I'm not really jumping around too much. I'm basically just going from top of the head, down into the body, out into the arms, down into the legs. And I'm kind of jumping back and forth between scribbling in one area if I kind of lose confidence and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going, to like really reaching out, especially like a long form like the leg. But I'm not really going any faster or changing my pace. I'm just modulating the scope of what I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at a big line or a small line, a big area or a small area, and I'm kind of just jumping back and forth between those two ways of looking at the figure. And it also kind of fades out at the edges. Partially I ran out of paper here, but the areas where there are more lines, denser detail, are more developed, more refined than the areas toward the edge. And I think that's key to kind of keeping the drawing interesting. And it's totally okay if your scribbles look just like scribbles and don't actually look like a figure at the end. Like this takes some practice, and doing other exercises helps with this exercise. But the purpose is to stretch your perceptive skills, and how that can coordinate with the way that your hand is moving. Now, I only did 2 passes here, but if this was like a 3 to 5 minute pose, I would just keep doing it over and over again, and keep refining. I might kind of pick a focal point and really refine that area with denser scribbles. So let me just do another pass here, and I might kind of, on the last couple passes, I might slow down a little bit, but the point of the exercise isn't really to go fast, is to kind of keep a steady scribble, and to gradually get darker with your line, or more dense with your line, and more slightly more accurate in terms of positioning. Like here, there's a big loop kind of way out here, totally not accurate, but that was part of the first sketch. And so the layers on top will get denser and darker, and refine the pose. So let me try it again here. And I'm gonna focus on smaller areas of detail and interest for this last pass. And I'm gonna slow down just slightly, but not too much. I think sometimes the harder I think about this, the less, the more mistakes I actually start to make. Or not mistakes, but I get too detailed and it kind of loses its interest. And let's see. Yeah. So, pretty simple, but a lot of fun. You can do these all night, really. And you could do this. I do this on the iPad, and with the Apple Pencil. I like to do it with a pen. And I encourage you to try it out. The key is to start light, start really loose, and just get slightly darker and more accurate as you go. So hope you have fun with it. Let me know if you try it, and we'll see you next time.